I'm just going to go straight into the jugular today. I'm not going to I'm not going to play around with anything. I'm just going to go straight into it. What I said I was going to do today was introduce the recording. It's going to put my offer on the chop line. My offers are such that if anybody who's going to work side by side with this in this project, which is a brand, they're going to have to know that my first offer is the novel. And in that novel, it's a make-believe of how we intend to migrate from it's going to be a paradigm shift. And by that, we're going to move from the men guard to the women guard. And the title was God to goddesses, Allah to Allahses, Buddha to Buddhasses. So this represents what we call the Christian faith, the Muslim faith, and the Hereditary faith, which is the omnipotent, quote and unquote, right there. So in that context, so you can also quickly put it in the context of what you call the biblical, the Quranic environment. And the Buddha, I need to do more research in that Buddha area there, but I do know that those things are the holy scriptures. And we're going to try to make it in such a way that all the hereditary side of it is going to be pretty much what they call a live scripture that is going to always be updated. Like it's a live document that can always be upgraded. It's a novel. He said the novel will be out in 2 weeks, and it will be one of the perks that we're going to give to those who are going to be. We will prefer that it sells a lot of copy. We want to sell tons of copy. If he sells tons of copy, we will really be glad. If he sells tons of copy, then everything will now be secondary. And for it to do that, we are going to have to use what we call a perk of 25% to those who are going to be helping us to sell it. So did you get 25%? Whether it's ebook or whether it's what you call the hardcover, they get 25%, and the people they're going to sell it to, those who get 25% too. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's a novel will be given out we start giving out that novel. Let's assume we go another direction and we start saying, okay, we're going to put what you call the crowdfunding together. That will also be the perk that will give out to people who are going into business, or people who are going into business that don't have an offer, are not going to go into business because they will always think, oh, we're going to go into business, but they don't have an offer that they're going to put on that they're going to sell. You are not anywhere. Matter of fact, as soon as this book sells just one copy, that's all I'm going to need for the rest of my life. I will just be an author, and I will then haul ass and go back to motherland where I can go do what you call the unfinished business. So I am very big on that. If it sells just one copy, then I'm fine, because it just kind of happened that when I say that, it just kind of happened was that I was fortunate at the very beginning when I started working hard as a kid. But when I started working hard like that, I came up with the fact that at one point or the other, I was successful in Nigeria there, and when I came to the United States, I had to start all over. So when I got here, I had to start all over. As difficult as it was as a kid to be able to run a 30-year period in Nigeria there, and then come to the United States, you have to come and run another 40 years. When I got to the United States and started running here, I felt very strongly now that I got the novel released, that I was pretty much written off. And by that, what I mean is that because I'm not a crook, 99.9999% of people are crooks. People who are not crooks out there are the deities, like Erede, like Christ, like Mohammed, like me. We are not crooks. And if you're not a crook, you get written off. But if you are not a crook and you challenge the establishment without being a little bit more diplomatic about it, they would put you on that status quo where they will put you on the cross and then start putting nails on your legs and then get rid of you. And then we are now saying, okay, the blood of Christ. And when you are in the Catholic Church, you always see that the people are talking about the blood of Christ. Okay, the second offer is going to be what you call the removal of the pain point. That's our second offer. The removal of pain point with much ado about nothing. I go straight into it. It's the same thing with Facebook. It's the same thing with Facebook, Google. It has that media power to be able to have what you call social media. It's a social media platform where you go put in your offer, and when you put it in there, then we will then take the pain point away from you. Let me just make that very, very clear. That's kind of straightforward. The third offer is kind of gigantic project that we are taking on when it comes to when we say in Nigeria, for example. The project there is gigantic because we are saying that there was a point in time when the forefathers came into Africa and took all the proprietary, took all the intellectual property from the Alexandria Library and took it to go and build the Western civilization, the Eastern civilization, the Chinese civilization, all those parts of the world. They went to go build it. But before that happened, there was already the finding a way of people who were in Africa during that 13 billion or 13 trillion light years back. So in this pinpoint area, in this area here where we're talking about gigantic, what we're talking about there is going to be try to fix the electrical grid system in Africa. And we're going to be writing what to call it, electrical grid system in Africa. So it's a project that is going to be ongoing, that is going to we'll put a grid system together. I'm trying to find the electrical system, what you call the renewable energy, to be able to keep that going there. But we do need, if there is need for us to morph into nuclear, we will go there. Because all the other countries in the world are using what you call an electric, the nuclear system, but they don't tell you that's what they're doing. Because they don't want you to have the nuclear system because they're afraid you're going to have a nuclear power. And it's all about power. It's all about how much, at this point in time, it's all about the lot of what you call might is right. Might is right. Stuff like that. So then we are going to be putting in that gigantic project there, we're going to use what we call the artificial intelligence, and we're going to use the quantum computer, and we're going to be linking up with Edo Polytechnic, and we're going to be liaising it with Paul Queen College. So if you standing on that protocol of the third order, then we're going to go straight into another order, another offer we have. And the offer we have is pretty much what we call women. This is an area where it's going to be kind of rusty because we are talking about movement. The movement is going to be, it's pretty much an NGO. But it's part of the offer because we can, if unless you have to be working it at the background or foreground. You can't just, we're gonna try to work it, and it's a movement. It's an it's a non-for-profit angle of our offering. So then we're going to go straight. Another area that is going to be our offering is going to be, this time we're playing into what we call the zero-sum game, and we try to use what we call, we're going to try and use what we call the YouTube, which I'm currently recording right now, or the podcast. So we are offering these services to a lot of people out there right now who are thinking of we're going to offer it to people, because we are now, with this company, is now a content provider or an influencer. And a content provider, anyone who is rusty in science, technology, engineering, and math, we have their back. It's a difficult arena because all those big corporations like the Microsoft, the IBM, Google, all of them already have a presence in that environment. So if you, it's a computer, whether it is at the quantum level or at the intellectual property level or at the what you call the quantum physics or quantum mechanics, it's the penetration